With Flash Professional CS5.5, you can now publish apps for iOS devices, such as the iPod, the iPhone, and even the iPad. So let's go ahead and take a look at publishing an app for the iPad. Currently, I have this project set up, and I have not only an iPad version, I have a Playbook version and an Android version. They're all sharing this code right here, this ActionScript file. But I want to focus on this iPad version, which I currently have open. You just take a quick peek at the code, notice that it's going to tap into the accelerometer. So when I tilt the device, you're going to see these lines being drawn. Okay, I can also tap into additional capabilities, but in this case, just some touch events, and the accelerometer is what I'm going to use. And I want to go ahead and just do a test movie in Flash right now, because this is really what you'll get. You'll be able to draw these lines and you can see this artwork being created. And as you tilt the device, these lines are going to change directions. All right. So I've tested it out, it looks good, and I want to jump right into the Publish settings. So I'm going to File, Publish Settings, and I'm going to make sure the player is set up for Air for iOS. Unlike other Air settings, the Air for iOS actually does not need the Air runtime. It's actually going to compile down into bytecode that's going to be great for any iOS device. So with that said, I'm going to go into those particular settings. I define an output file. I give it a name. We're just going to call this Silk. Version number. This is going to be portrait, and it's going to go full screen. Next up, I can change the render mode. Now, if you're familiar with rendering, you can go ahead and change it from CPU to GPU. So the graphics processor unit is actually going to be more efficient on mobile devices. So I'm going to change that to GPU. The device I have connected by USB is actually an iPad, but note that I can publish out to an iPhone size, clear up to an iPad size. Resolution, I can also change this from high resolution to standard, whatever the case may be. So for an iPhone 4, I'd want to change this to high resolution since it has a high resolution display. But again, this is for the iPad, so I'm going to select standard. With all of that set up, I'm going to go into deployment, and this takes a little more work, and really there are two main things you need to go ahead and create. You need a certificate that's going to be associated with this app, and you're going to need a provisioning profile. And both of these actually come from Apple. So I'm going to go ahead and open up a web browser. And what you need to do is you need to become an Apple developer. So you pay the fee, and then you become an Apple developer, and it gives you access to this provisioning portal. From this portal, there's plenty of resources, as you can see off to the right-hand side, as far as assigning devices, creating app IDs, and your provisioning profiles as well. But I'm going to go ahead and jump into the certificates, because that is really the first blanks I need to fill in on that distribution tab. So in there, notice I already have a certificate set up. In fact, I can go ahead and download it. But if you want instructions on how to make the certificate, just go to the how-to section and follow those directions. You're basically going to establish a device ID and an app ID. So again, that's where the certificate comes from. I already have it downloaded. You also have certain devices that you want to have registered and associated and even provisioned for making your apps. I've already done this. Here's my device ID. I will just point out real fast in iTunes, my connected iPad. If I just do a command click on that number right there, it gives me the specific identifier for this iPad, because I want to provision this iPad as a development device. I'll skip down to provisioning. So you will put in that UDID, and then you're going to be able to download that provisioning profile. So if I click inside there, notice that the app ID is tranny demo, so I can just go ahead and copy that app ID and go back into Flash. Here I am in Flash. I've already loaded in the certificate. I've added the password that I used when I first signed up as an Apple developer. I've uploaded the mobile provision, or actually just pointed to that file, and then that's where my app ID goes right there. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and publish this for device testing, so that's why I have that selected, but you could even go clear down to final deployment, publishing it to the App Store. But again, I'm going to publish this out to my connected iPad. And the last section I'm going to focus on are the icons. So this is pretty straightforward. I've just identified these different ping files that are already set up and good to go. So with everything in place, this is the fun part, just clicking publish. And what it's going to make is it's going to make this IPA file on my desktop. Click publish. So I'm going to select OK and go back out to my desktop where that IPA file is created. In the Silk folder, there's my Silk IPA file. All right, I need to go ahead and take this app and I need to go ahead and put it in iTunes. So with iTunes open and the app section selected, I can go ahead and just drag that right in there and it will add it. You can see it right here. It adds that app. The next thing I need to do is just select on my iPad and go into apps. And just make sure that checkbox is checked. I'm going to sort this by name. I want to make sure Silk is checked. Sure enough, there it is. There's my Silk app. In fact, it's going to be on screen 2. I can see it right there. So all I need to do now is just go ahead and click Apply to sync my iPad with iTunes. Alright, now that it's done syncing, you can see there's my Silk app. I'll just go ahead and select it to launch it. There's my little message. We can see that border. And now what I want to do is just go ahead and just do some drawing. And as I tilt the device, that Silk tilts and starts moving that direction. So again, I can do all the drawing I want just by using touch events and then tapping into the accelerometer to really create some cool drawings as well. And what I can also do is I can go ahead, once I have a cool drawing, I can even click save and it will save it to the camera roll. So it's really exciting being able to use Flash to publish directly out to the device and really take advantage of the whole ecosystem associated with iOS devices. You can not only use touch events and accelerometer, keep in mind you can use the microphone, the camera, and even load photos from the camera roll as well. So try it out for yourself. My name is Paul Tranny, and thanks for watching.